Hi guys, with the road to 2030 looming ever closer and fossil fuels dwindling down with gas terminals just like this being demolished, it means us petrol heads and enthusiasts are a little bit worried about what the EVs and performance world is going to look like. Now I've got one for you. This is the all new Cupra born e-Boost, Cupra's first fully electric performance car, but is it going to live up to standard? The e-Boost is a step up from the standard Cupra born, giving it that bit more of performance. So this model has 231 brake horsepower and 310 Nm of torque, giving it a reasonable 6.6 seconds 0 to 60, but a top speed of just 99 miles an hour. But weighing just over 1.8 tonnes, is it really going to hold the performance of a hot hatch?
The Cupra Born has undergone some tweaks to ensure it can offer an EV twist on the hot hatch experience, but more on that later.
This may look like a filler cap, but don't let it fuel you. So don't let this filler cap fool you. It is not where we're going to be putting petrol or diesel in. It is in fact where we're going to be charging it. Now this 58 kilowatt battery takes 6 hours to charge on an 11 kilowatt charger. However, if you up that to 135, you're going to only take 35 minutes from 5% to 80%, which is just enough. With the 58 kilowatt battery, we can get a range of 260 miles. Need a little bit more? Then opt for the 77 kilowatt battery and you'll get over 300. But things aren't always tested in these factory conditions, so what's it like in real life?
The Born's charging times were pretty much as stated, and over the 350 miles we did, the variety of driving styles and modes did have an effect on the range. On the country B roads in safer mode, the battery lasted really well, but Cupra mode did egg on a really heavy right foot. In the towns, the Born felt at home and not dropping range as quickly as its fossil fuel alternative. But motorways did seem to drop the range the most, especially at 70 miles an hour, so make sure to make the most of your saver mode. As expected from a hot hatch, there is plenty of room with a 385 litre boot before the back seats are even down.
And in the back we have plenty of room. You can comfortably fit 5 adults for a nice little road trip. Now you are sat at a little bit of an angle because of the battery being just beneath you, but to be honest, I could take a nap. The inside is a super nice place to be. You've got all the little copper pieces of trim, which is just Cupra's statement, standing out from the ID3. You've got a really nice multifunction steering wheel with all your little buttons like your drive select and of course Cupra mode. You've got a 12-inch screen that connects your Apple CarPlay and has everything that you need on it. But being the V2 edition, it means we have some additional extras. Grey diameter bucket seats, tinted windows, multifunction steering wheel, heads-up display, 19-inch Typhoon alloys.
And in Cupra style, you'll find lots of copper and Cupra statements.
So once you've all parked up, we pop it into park, which also puts the handbrake on. But you may notice there's no stop-start button. So what do? Well, this is my favourite feature out of this entire car. Once you get out, it recognises your bum's no longer in the seat and switches everything off. And makes that little noise too. Now some people may be sceptical about electric cars and the innovation that they're bringing, one of which is my mum.
I'm Mum, never been in an electric vehicle before, never driven one. Going to need a lot of convincing to change from a petrol diesel car to one of these.
So time for my mother to hop into the driver's seat and see what she thinks of her first EV and the Cupra Born.
One perk with an EV is we don't need a microphone for both of us in the car, so you excited?
Nervous.
Off you go. You gotta work it all out yourself.
So you're not going to give me any directions?
No, first bit is all down to you.
Right, get seat comfy. So it's automatic, so I would say you put your foot on the brake. Oh my God. Ready.
Do it one more time.
Why?
Puts it into regenerative braking mode.
And that means
we save some miles.
no.
Don't kill us, please. It's got auto hold, by the way.
Oh my god. I don't like. Oh, there's no noise. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie when we were kids. I don't know if I like them not having any noise.
I can pretend.
Vroom. Vroom. Well, so far it's just like driving an automatic without any noise.
So what's your thoughts so far on the EV experience?
It's the quietness.
It's peaceful.
It is. I don't know. I think I'd need to have music or something on because it's just too quiet. I like this. I like this. I like the look at the front, the look at the sides. Out on the back of it, but yeah, this is nice.
There we go. Mum reviews.
And there is a skeptic's review of the Cupra Born e-Boost, so we best swap over and get into the nitty-gritty details.
The Born may look a little bit familiar already, and that's because it's based off the same model as the Volkswagen ID.3. Cupra have taken that model and made it into a much sportier version. What they've done is they've taken the ID.3, taken what's kind of a little bit plain on it and made it a lot sportier. So they've had some chassis tweaks, suspension tweaks, just to add that extra performance to make it that performance car. Now it has a sportier suspension and also a lowered ride height. Mixed with that battery placed really low down like in all EVs, it means that the handling of this thing is surprisingly good. To add to the whole sporty feel, this has a single electric motor that drives the rear wheels, so it means all that power is going to the rear wheel, basically rear wheel drive. Again, helps push you around those corners, and anyone that loves a performance car loves rear wheel drive. It's just the most fun. So with this exact model, so the Cupra Born e-Boost B2 58 kilowatt battery, it is just shy of £35,000 brand spanking new. However, this particular model has upgraded paint and also a tech pack, which makes it just over £36,000. Now remember, this is a brand new Cupra sports car. And when you put that into terms that it is brand spanking new out of the factory, that's pretty reasonable. The suspension itself is super comfortable. Get on a nice road surface on the motorway and you're just gliding over it. However, find a country lane or pothole, it's quite noticeable and a little bit choppy, but that is just the suspension tweaks that you're going to take the compromise with, which is more aimed as a sports car, so it's fully expected. The next thing about performance cars is the steering. This one is super accurately weighted, so you know exactly where you're putting this car. You do feel the weight a little bit when you're braking, but in terms of steering, it feels great. You can really chuck it around those bends, which is something I never thought I'd say with an EV. So when you are going on a little spirited drive, it is really tidy and precise. It doesn't really put a foot wrong. Like any EV, we all know they are pumped full of technology, and this one is no exception. The biggest thing is obviously we've got the heads-up display. Unfortunately, because I'm a little bit shorter, but the way I sit, I can only see half of it, which is interesting. But the screen in front of you has got everything you need to know. And in terms of safety features, this has everything you need. It does have adaptive cruise control, so it will slow down if a car's coming in front of you. And my favourite thing is a little orange line appears underneath it, so it's just showing you how close it is as the line gets bigger. Also has lane assist, which means when you start to drift over, it will happily push you back. The quality of the interior feels a lot better than past Cupras and past Seats. They've really upped their game with this, and you can tell they are serious when they're coming to the EV market. The steering wheel is so luxurious. My only criticism is the buttons took a little bit of getting used to, but that's me being stupid because instead of pressing them, you swipe them. One nice thing with EVs, and especially this, the torque is surprisingly impressive. That does put a smile on your face. After experiencing the Born for a few days, it has really, really changed my mind with EVs. And if I was to have one, this would be the one I would go for at this moment in time. It can still have a really fun, spirited drive back, but you can relax and enjoy the drive as well if you need to be. Charging has been a little bit difficult. Again, it's more my fault because I played with settings that I shouldn't have played with.
Moral of the story, don't press buttons if you don't know what they do.
I've learnt my lesson, I know how to charge it now, and if you are that little bit extra prepared, it's something you can easily get used to. But the whole point of this video was, are we going to lose out on that fun performance car when EVs take over? And if this is the way they're going, I don't think we will. We may miss that loud exhaust noise, and I know I definitely will, but how often do we drive on a longer journey and have our music as loud as we can hear? So I feel like as a daily driver that I still want that ounce of fun with, this would tick that box. To conclude my review of the Cupra Born eBoost 58 kilowatt battery V2, I have been super impressed by this car. You can see the pedigree of Cupra shine through, and it really does put a sporty twist onto an EV. Now, in terms of the whole road to 2030 and whether performance cars will die out, this is just that glimmer of hope that us petrol heads, although we may not have exhaust noise, we have something to hold on to hope to, because this thing, if you're a big hot hatch fan, you will appreciate the drive and handling of this thing, because that is what really shines through. So you guys know the drill. To make my journey your journey, like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.